We are so back. Hello, thank you for 10,000 subscribers and the support on these last videos. In case you missed my last video, Watch This As I Draw is turning into a series. I'll be making way more videos covering different topics, like today's video on the animation community. I'm learning that you guys do more than just draw while watching these videos, so I'm gonna change up the intro a little bit. Grab your art supplies or crochet tools or gaming consoles or homework and let's get started. I struggled so hard on the art for this video. I'm still trying to figure out my art style. In the end, I think it came out like kinda decent. If you want to see more of my art, follow me on Instagram at stargazer. Let's start with talking about the peak of the animation community, specifically the storytime animation community. I'm talking like 2018 times. Animators like The Odd Ones Out, Jaden Animation, and Domix were topping the trending pages. This is when I first got into the community. I still remember the first storytime animation video I watched, James' video on tabletop games. I was instantly invested. I think we all enjoyed videos of this time because they were just so relatable. There were a bunch of introverted artists talking about their opinions on mundane things and sharing childhood stories. They're charming and wildly appealing while still seeming down to earth. Unlike other genres and communities on YouTube, the storytime animation community felt like an actual community. There were so many collab videos. I swear James collaborated with every storytime animator at this point. It's really cool that this big creator would give that boost to small channels. There wasn't much of a barrier of entry for these videos either. At the time, again, like pre-2019, the animations were really cool, but they also weren't super detailed. They technically weren't even animations, they were animatics. So anyone with a microphone and flip a clip could make a video and gain lots of fans. There were some fun trends from this time too, like this 7-day vegan challenge baby solves all your problems. All these animators challenging each other to make their own videos participating. I really like Jaden and James' videos specifically. Or the milestone videos, like those awkward face reveals that all make. And the Odd Ones Out sprinkle video. I don't know what's with this guy in sprinkles. Also, can you tell who my favorite animator from this time was? I was actually so obsessed with this channel. Oh, and Mafia. Actually genius series name idea, and the videos themselves were so well animated. I find the actual game of Mafia to be kind of boring, but Moz made it seem so fun. And the absolute peak of this time, VidCon vlogs. Guys, can we please bring back VidCon vlogs? I had so much fun watching these as a kid. One of my biggest YouTube goals right now is to go to VidCon and make a VidCon vlog. It was just so fun to see all of your favorite YouTubers and animators hanging out and interacting in real life. Similarly, why I really like the Voice Chat podcast, another pillar of the storytime animation community. If you guys don't know, the amazing Lottie and Rushlight Invader have this podcast where they talk to fellow animators and artists in the community. The podcast has been going on for a while, so they have lots of episodes. I highly recommend it. Those three are so funny and they have such great chemistry and energy with all the guests that come on. Now, of course, whenever there's a big thing that the internet is obsessed with, there's got to be a large group of people equally trying to tear that thing down. Let's talk about the storytime animation community drama. This is going to be a vague recounting of the drama off the top of my head. I plan to make a whole retrospective video breaking down what happened in the future, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Also, a disclaimer, I guess. Everyone doesn't have to like these YouTubers. I just think it's funny how petty and specific a lot of the criticisms were. For some reason, some people didn't believe when these animators would call themselves introverts and awkward, because how can you be an introvert when you're posting these videos to thousands of people online? Thing is, those people aren't like actually there watching you speak in real time. I'd consider myself to be mostly an introvert and a little shy, but I'm not like shivering in my timbers recording these videos. I'm literally in my closet talking to myself. I don't know what could be more introverted than that. Also, they are artists. I cannot think of a hobby that would attract more awkward introverted people than art, other than coding maybe. I do both of those actually, so I guess I'm like good double introvert. That's actually sad. Oh my gosh. Okay, side tangent. The other day, I went to visit my friend at his cool artsy university, and his friends would ask me, oh, like what school are you going to? What program are you in? And every time I would say I'm in computer science, they would like give me this look. It was so funny. Anyways, there was also this drama of animation versus animatics. Like I said earlier, technically what these storytime animators were making weren't actually animations. I'm gonna get more into this point later in the video though, so we'll put a pin in this. There's a lot more I could say about this drama, but again, I want to save it for a future video. You guys can let me know what you thought of the drama and these storytime animation haters though. Speaking of animation community drama, who remembers DanPlan? DanPlan was this big animation channel. They had this series called By the Way. The host Dan would put his friends Hossa and Steven in wild scenarios, like seeing if they could survive popular horror movies. I would say it's kind of like D&D, but minus the combat. They'd also do other videos like vlogs. The guys were childhood friends and had been making videos for years. Their By the Way series really kicked off with their video release in May 2017. By the Way, Are You a Psychopath? Gaining 16 million views. The series would go strong for 3 years, with each video averaging 2 to 4 million views, with some gaining over 10 million. Their videos were so fun and funny. They were a charming group of guys. Hossa was like the soft boy, Steven was the mischievous playful one, and Dan was the chill one that balanced out the other two. Unfortunately though, there was some trouble behind the scenes. Oh my gosh, I just realized that this all happened in 2020. Of course, this channel died in 2020. What was up with that year? Steven made an expose video sometime in early 2020. He exposes Dan for treating his friends like employees rather than friends. He also claims that Dan wasn't paying him enough, even after Steven tried working harder. Dan then released a response video. Apparently, Steven had already expressed wanting to quit, and they had all planned to slowly phase him out of the videos. They already had other friends that would be guest stars on some of the videos, so the channel could continue without Steven. Since Steven made this exposed video though, they weren't able to have this graceful exit. Coincidentally, around the same time, Hossa had to fulfill mandatory military service. At the time, it was unclear whose side Hossa was on, but either way, he stopped appearing in DanPlan videos as well. Now, Dan has continued making his own videos on the DanPlan channel and seems to have rebooted the series with a different guy. Hossa and Steven have their own channel called Plan 3, where they also make their own videos in a similar style to the By the Way series. It's kind of sad how this all went. Seeing a years-long friendship end because of business and poor communication. Their channel was so good. I feel like if they stayed together, they would have fully peaked during lockdown. We missed out on a Minecraft series with those three. Honestly, this is why I don't think I can make any sort of couple channel or channel with friends. I trust my friends and think that they're great people, but business and money just seems to tear people apart, and I would not want to risk that. I've tried watching Dan's videos and Steven and Hossa's videos, but it doesn't hit the same. I miss that trio. I want to glaze my favorite storytime animators for a bit now. I'm not as into the community as I was when I was younger, but I still check on some of these creators from time to time. Let's start with the one that I've honestly already talked about enough at this point. The Odd Ones Out. Again, he was my favorite animator, favorite YouTuber even at the time. He introduced me to that side of YouTube. He's got this friendly energy to him, like golden retriever vibes. He'd talk about the most random topics, but it was always so engaging. Another favorite, and one that I still watch to this day, Jaden Animations. I was going to call her one of the most unproblematic YouTubers, but let me not say that. I don't want to jinx it. Either way, she's the internet's favorite introvert. Very relatable, very down-to-earth creator. Somehow my favorite videos of hers haven't even been the ones where she shares stories though. I really liked her video on the D&D campaign she did. And despite not being a Pokemon fan, I still like her Nuzlocke videos. Despite being pretty unproblematic, she still attracted weird people in her audience and got pulled into some weird dramas, but it hasn't managed to taint her platform. She is a great YouTuber with a great personality. To round out my top 3, we've got the amazing. I love his videos. He's got to be one of the funniest YouTubers I've ever watched. He's got this random humor and his animation style is really interesting and cartoony. I love his collab videos with the Odd Ones Out too. They're a really funny duo. Overall, super charismatic guy and fun to watch. Illumation is an animator I didn't watch much as a kid, but I watched a lot of in current times. I always leave her videos feeling like I've learned something new about a minority I didn't know much about before. She really inspires empathy and I really respect what she does and her impact. Also, the background art in her videos is so good. It is such a great art style. We've also got the younger side of the community with Brody Animates, Infamous Swoosh, and Haminations. I remember finding these guys the most relatable as I was closest in age to them. It's inspirational seeing how they managed to start these huge platforms as young teenagers. Some other random animators I watched at the time include Kurt Ritchie, Amarichu, Didus, Tabs, Katsune, and something else YT. Now that I've spread that positivity, it's time to be mean. Time for some critiques. If I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like the humor of the videos from this time. There was this big loud equals funny thing in a lot of those older storytime animation videos. I think that random XD humor was generally in at the time, so that's not just an animation community issue, but it's something that was just kind of a pet peeve of mine. I think it just made the videos feel kind of childish. Like they're jingling keys in front of me to keep my attention. If I'm gonna be for real though, that is like my only criticism of the community. I don't know, there's not much to criticize. It's hard to be controversial when all you do is talk about childhood crushes and silly school stories. I did watch a video a while ago that critiqued the community and not gonna lie, I heavily disagreed with the opinions. The creator was more so focused on the modern storytime animation community. They talked about how a lot of the storytime animations these days are too polished now, and that it's no longer just one animator animating and telling their story. They've got a whole team now. I don't see a problem in an upgrade of quality though. I think that it's nice that they're giving all of these artists a job and a platform. It's also just nice to watch something polished, and it helps them post more than like twice a year. I can understand that it does make it a bit harder for new animators to join the community though. The standard has been raised, so it's no longer enough to just make a little slideshow. There's gotta be some more charm to your stuff. But to counter that, there are ways to make polished storytime animated videos without having to draw a bunch. You could just make it a PNG tuber instead and save lots of times on drawing new frames, or even switch to a VTuber if you've got the money for that. There are lots of workarounds, and I wouldn't want anyone to feel discouraged from starting an animation channel because they feel like their skills don't match the people who have been doing this for over 10 years. Everyone starts somewhere. Now let's talk about what real animation is, aka animations versus animatics. Let's start with some definitions. Paraphrasing from Merriam-Webster, an animation is a sequence of still frames that simulates movement. According to Adobe, an animatic is an animated storyboard. So basically, an animatic is a rough version of an animation. A lot of animators on YouTube make animatics because they're easier to make than making a full frame-by-frame animation. This saves them time and allows them to make way more videos. Some people criticize storytime animators for calling their work animations because they technically aren't animated. Honestly, I think this is a pretty nitpicky take. I don't think it's the end of the world if someone calls their animatic an animation. The terms technically aren't interchangeable, but I mean, these are YouTube videos, not schoolwork. You aren't gonna get marks off for calling them that. I made a community post a while ago asking you guys for your opinions on the animation community, and a lot of you guys talked about this debate and what's considered real animation. There was quite a bit of discussion about tweening, which we'll get into next. Hello! I've really liked interspersing my opinions with quotes from you guys throughout this video, and I'd like to do this some more in future ones. The next Watch This As You Draw video is going to be about animated shows. This is your chance to info dump to me about any of your favorite animated shows and characters, whether indie or mainstream. If you've got anything to say on the topic, reply to my pinned comment and I'll feature it in that next video. And subscribe so you don't miss that video. I am slowing down on uploads a little bit because college actually has me in a chokehold and I don't have much time, but I'm still trying really hard to get these videos out, so thank you for sticking around. Back to the video. If I'm going to be honest, I don't like how tweening looks. Let me first define what tweening is. Quoting from Wikipedia, tweening is a process of animating that involves creating intermediate frames called in-betweens, between two keyframes. Okay, so to be specific on the tweening animation I don't like the ones I typically see in animation memes. They look kind of choppy and robotic a lot of the time. I personally prefer non-tweening animation, like frame by frame hand-drawn stuff. I just prefer the smoothness. This isn't to say that tweening isn't a valid form of animation though. I got this really in-depth comment on the community post I made that we'll be probably referencing quite a bit in this video. This commenter, Alan Artistique, says, tweening and rigging isn't the fully automated cheat code a lot of people think it is. It does generate simple in-between frames, but involves manually placing frames and adjusting animation curves as well. It's simply a tool to help, not to replace the entire process. We're kind of moving away from storytime animation community into the animation meme community. Let's talk about how fast the animation trend cycle is. First, according to Wiktionary, animation memes are short animations, typically set to music and depicting a character singing or dancing, intended to be spread or imitated by other animators. That definition was probably not needed for most of you guys, but personally, I was so confused when I found out about this community. I had no idea why everyone was calling them memes even though they weren't funny. Apparently, meme doesn't just mean funny thing. It means a piece of media that's copied and spread across the internet. So there's your fun fact. Anyways, I was never fully in the animation meme community, but I've watched some of the older and newer videos from the community and observed some of the bigger trends. Nowadays, the animation meme community stresses beyond YouTube and exists on Instagram and TikTok as well. I think because animation trends have moved to these short-form content platforms, it sped up the trend cycle. Previously, an animation meme would be popular for months, even years. Recently though, artists feel like they're late to trend just because they posted it a few weeks after its initial hype. Half the time I check the caption on an animation meme, it says, "I hope this trend isn't dead yet." It's my own theory, my animation theory, that tweening is more common these days because it's faster to tween than to animate frame by frame. Therefore, you can finish your animation before the trend ends. Another quote from one of you guys, Moose #1 fan says, "I think this is quite a common opinion, but seeing people rushing their animation because of how fast the animation/meme trends die out is quite disappointing. Animation memes used to last for years. They shouldn't die out within 5 weeks or less. They should obviously last longer than that. And people shouldn't worry about having to finish something just because people on the internet forget or start hating on the animation trend. I've seen amazingly made animation that don't get as much attention they deserve just because the animation meme the person did had died out and honestly, it's quite disappointing. Another point about the animation meme community, there's quite a lot of drama and complications around copying animation memes. Most animation meme trends start with one animator making an animation to a random song. Then, other animators watch that animation and make their own rendition. They may use a similar choreography to the original creator, but add their own flair or use their own OC. It's common courtesy to credit the original creator of the meme. Now, although the whole point is for people to copy the original animation, there is a limit. As Alan Artistique notes, it's not good to trace the original animation down to the frame or take the original character's design. You are allowed to make a whole different animation choreography to the same song or audio though. Sometimes a single song can have two popular choreographies associated with it. It's not that the original creator owns the concept of animating to that particular song, they just own the choreography they made for it. Okay, for these videos, I often search up Reddit threads related to the topic at hand. While searching up animation meme theft, I saw this post that kind of got me thinking. I'm going to narrate the video, but I'll have it playing on the screen right now. The poster shows a video of them tracing over the pose of each frame of the animation, replacing the original meme's character with their own OC. The common consensus under the post was that if you're doing that to learn, then it's fine, but if you post it, you have to credit the original animator. The poster technically isn't tracing, as they aren't line by line replicating the animation, but they're doing something really close to tracing. In my opinion, I don't think it's okay to do this. It's not tracing, but I think it falls under the umbrella term of plagiarism if they were to post it uncredited. They're copying the same timing and poses as the original animator, directly drawing on top of it even. I am curious to know what you guys think. Would you consider this tracing or plagiarism, or is this just referencing and doesn't require credit? Comment your thoughts down below. Also, no hate to the poster of course, I just thought it was an interesting discussion to have. Now let's get into real animation theft, specifically animation reposts. Reposting art is a general big problem in the art community, but I think it's especially offensive when animations are reposted. Sometimes, someone will cut up clips from a storytime animation or other longer animation and repost it onto sites like TikTok. Some of these reposts get even more views than the original. I saw this really long post on Reddit explaining a reposting issue this animation creator was having. I'm gonna paraphrase their post now. I make animations on YouTube with nearly 2 million subscribers. My animations are pretty popular at the moment, and because of this, I have to deal with a high amount of re-uploads and content stealing. Right now, there's a trend that Russian channels use my animations and make dubs. They are verbally translating what's going on in the animation. My original animations are all non-verbal since I don't want a language barrier in my videos. Those Russian YouTubers upload my content as YouTube Shorts and are gaining between 1 million to 5 million views per short. The channels are getting 5 to 5,000 subscribers a day and at least 10 to 30 million views a month because of my content. As far as I know, there are 3 Russian channels who are stealing. I found one through my copyright tool in my YouTube studio. I contacted him and the guy replied, "Why do you punish me when there are more people doing the same?" He basically snitched and gave me more Russian YouTube channels who are also reposting my content. Now, how should I deal with this? Should I see it as an advantage since it's free advertising, even though none of them are giving me credit? But then again, since these shorts are just re-uploads of my videos, the viewer could end up getting the original videos recommended to them, leading to profit for me. But the way I see the whole thing is more like this. I see channels like the Russian ones who upload my content as harming my reach, since people are consuming my content on other channels instead of mine. The viewer would then skip my content because they've already seen it. I'm also not a big fan of giving credit because only a few amount of people want to know what the original animator of an animation is, and I basically gain nothing from that. Another option would be striking the videos/shorts, which I've already done. I've already stroked 2 shorts from each channel as a warning. They came back to me saying, "If I delete all content I took from you, Can you revert those strikes? This is exactly what I want to try to achieve with my 2 strikes warning tactic. But I want to know from you guys what you would have done in my situation. I want to prepare for the next content stealers. How could I make the most advantage out of the situation, since my copyright tool is filled with re-uploads? Most of the replies to the posts said to copyright strike the channels, which, by the way, copyright striking is when a creator reports the content of theirs was used in another creator's video in an illegal way. Basically, if someone steals your video, you can copyright strike them and the creator has to take that video down. Copyright strikes are pretty serious because if you get 3 strikes in 90 days, your channel gets terminated. So yeah, most of the replies said to copyright strike those theft channels. Someone brought up a good point that they are probably stealing from other creators too, so if they get enough strikes and get their channel terminated, they won't be able to steal from anyone anymore. Someone else suggested putting a watermark on their content so that they could at least get some credit if someone was to repost it. This is good advice for all artists actually. Always put a signature/watermark on your work just in case someone tries to take it and claim it as their own. There was also this insane comment. Apparently, someone stole this creator's content, then tried to copyright strike them and claim that they were the thief. Luckily, they were able to dispute the claim. My opinion is basically the same as the other replies. If someone is stealing your content, copyright strike/claim them. If they reposted it on another platform other than YouTube, you can use that platform's tools and try to get their video taken down. And again, always put a signature on your work, whether regular art or animation or speed paint, literally anything. This issue does bring up an interesting point though. Are compilation videos bad? They are also just reposting the content of lots of creators. I assume compilation videos are okay because they usually include credits and links to the original creators. They are still capable of being copyright claimed though. Technically, that content isn't transformative enough for it to be considered fair use. Personally, I don't think it's fair for someone who makes a compilation video to make money off of the videos because they basically just made a playlist. They didn't have a hand in creating any of the content. The animation community has so much drama. I don't know what it is about the community or the medium that breeds this much turmoil. Maybe because the community is mostly filled with a bunch of very online teenagers, or some creators get an ego when they get popular and start acting out. A lot of Ponder Sprocket videos feature people that fit into these 2 categories. Lots of accusing people of tracing and copying, even though their art only vaguely resembles each other. Sending your audience to attack ex-friends, lots of back and forths and bickering. Not gonna lie, I eat up those animation drama videos every time, so I guess I can't complain too much. I saw this comment that cracked me up because it is so real. I feel like this describes a lot of the dramas and controversies in the art community. The person said, "Can we get a real problem, I beg." I saw another comment that said, "Y'all hate on anything, OMG," which is also so real. Lots of stuff we talk about is pretty unserious, and while it's fun to have these discussions, just don't take it too seriously. I wonder if there'll ever be a time where there isn't a bunch of drama in the community. I assume not. People are always going to be in conflict with each other. There's probably drama in other communities too. We just don't hear about it because we're not in them. I think we're also just hyper aware of how much drama there is in the art and animation communities because there are so many videos about drama. It's kind of like that phrase, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, it doesn't make a sound. Actually, does it even connect to that quote? To be honest, I don't really know what that quote is about. Can someone explain that? Thank you. Anyways, I saw lots of talk on old animation memes versus new animation memes. Some people say new animations are just head bopping and repetitive movements, while older animations were actually unique and creative. People rightfully respond by saying those simple animations were popular back in the day too. They're just 2 different styles of animation memes. The simple head bopping to the lyrics type and the more complex ones. None is subjectively better or worse than the other, it's all down to preference. There were also people saying the same thing I said earlier, that trends go way faster nowadays, so animators have to rush their animations so that they get it out before the trend dies, leading to this new style of animation. Which, honestly, thinking more about it, I can't really blame animators for feeling like they have to rush this stuff if they get these hate comments saying they're late to the trend. You don't have to listen to these comments though, it's not that serious. Make the animation if you want to, there's nothing stopping you. Now let's talk about the medium of animation. Personally, I kind of hate animating. I don't have the patience to work on an art project for longer than like 8 hours total. It's also very tedious, and some tedious tasks are fun. Like, I enjoy crocheting and it's also really repetitive. It puts you in a trance, but animating is that type of tedious task that I find annoying. Making these minor adjustments, flipping between frame rates and positions until the animation finally flows properly. It's especially difficult if you're animating to music. The timing is even more important if you want to hit all those beat drops. I've tried learning how to animate. I watched the Alan Becker tutorial a few times, took notes and everything. It's just not really for me. Devastating because I have so many animations in my head that I would love to actually make someday if I could somehow find the patience for it. I also plan to be a game developer on the side, but will probably fully make the games by myself, which means I have to animate some parts. I feel like I can lock in on animating for it if it's a game though. Somehow I have increased patience on making art if it's for games. Like, I made this one game for high school. You play as a restocker and have to go from stall to stall restocking food when a shop runs low. I'll include some game screenshots on the screen. But yeah, for the art in that game, it took me a long time to make. I even had to go into The Sims to make a reference for the stalls. It came out pretty good though. I don't even know how I got onto that topic. Animation. I was actually going to be an animation major. I wanted to go into art originally, and animation seems to be one of the more higher paying art jobs. The portfolio requirements for the animation programs I was looking into were crazy though. You had to make like 3 animations, storyboards, sketches, life drawings, everything. It was a lot of work. I changed my mind about animation degree and switched to computer science before I had to go through all that portfolio making though. Oh, I guess it is the season for applying for colleges and universities right now. Good luck to you if you're working on your portfolio right now, and I hope you get into your dream programs. Anyways, I did make an animation last week actually. Well, quote-unquote animation. I refused to animate properly because I didn't want to figure out how to do it in my drawing programs, so I instead drew each frame of the animation on MS Paint, then edited them together in DaVinci Resolve. I like the final effect, to be honest, so you can check it out too if you want. It was the thank you animation I made for hitting 10,000 subscribers. Anyways, yeah, I'm not that much of a fan of animating, but I really admire anyone who has the skill and patience for it. You are truly something else. Hi. I'm thinking of introducing a new section to these videos. It's called Hey, I'm Not Done Yet, for when you're not yet done your activities and you need more to listen to. I'll basically be freely yapping about random things, kind of like a show and tell. I'll also tell you guys more personal things and stories. Maybe you'll get some lore dumps. We can also talk about current events in the art community. For this video, I wanted to show you guys some of the things I've crocheted since I know a lot of you guys are into that stuff. Most of the things I've crocheted have actually been birthday gifts for my friends. I made like dinosaurs, a frog. Most recently, I made this like little jellyfish thing for my friend's birthday party, and oh my gosh, I had so much fun making it and it came out so cute. I was so sad when I had to let it go. It's okay though, because I'm gonna make a pink version of it and then we're gonna bring our jellyfish together and make them kiss. The things I've crocheted for myself have mostly been these hats that I wear in literally every one of these videos. This white one is the first one I've ever made, and we've also got my favorite one, the green one, this black one, which is honestly humongous. I didn't know what I was doing with this, and the most recent one I've made actually, it's this like strawberry shortcake themed one, and it came out like so much better than I thought it would. I also made the little bow for it detachable, so now I can put this on literally all of my clothes. Last but not least, we have this headdress, and this one comes with a story. Okay, so I'm in this fashion club at my college, and we were having a picnic recently, and I was like, okay, let me make this cool little headdress so I can look all not boring. Now, the day of the picnic comes along, and it was supposed to be at our college on a weekend, and I made the mistake of not checking the bus times before the event. And so like 2 hours before I have to leave, I find out that the bus I usually take doesn't even run on weekends. And so I'm like panicking, trying to figure out some different buses to take. And I'm like one of the vice presidents of the club, so I had to be there early, and now I was about to be there like possibly an hour late. So I get to the bus station, and right as I'm pulling up there, my bus is there. It's like meters away, and I'm like, okay, so I'm just not gonna make this bus. So I'm just there in my little dress holding all of these bags of food, just watching as all the last people enter the bus and it's about to go, and I'm like tearing up. I keep walking though, and I head to the bus, and I realize that actually one of the people who was supposed to go on the bus is like kind of arguing with the bus driver, and so they end up buying me enough time to make it onto the bus, and it all worked out there, and I was like, okay, good. I'm not gonna be too late to this thing. The picnic itself goes fine. We all had a really fun time other than all the bees that were outside. And then the end of the day comes along, and it's time for me to take the bus back home. Now, I walk to the same stop that the bus dropped me off at in the morning, and I'm just standing there, you know, like taking some pictures of my little outfit. And then I'm like, shouldn't I be on the other side of the road? And just as I have that thought, I look up and again watch my bus just drive right past me. And I'm like being too optimistic, and I start running to try to catch up to the bus, to try to get it at the next stop. And then I realize, okay, I'm not fast enough to outrun a whole bus. And so I just stop in defeat. And then I pull out my phone, I look at it, and I'm at 10%. And so I spent another 20 minutes speed walking back to my college, and I'm like frantically texting and calling my friends, like, my phone is about to die, can I please call an Uber on your phone or something? And then like finally one of them responds to the message, and she ends up letting me borrow her charger. And so like everything was fine. I managed to get home. It took me 3 hours, a trip that should have been an hour and a half, but I made it back. And moral of the story is, don't go outside. It is never a good idea to go out and hang out with your friends, because something will go wrong, you will get unlucky, and it will ruin the rest of your day. Okay, of course the actual moral of the story is check your bus times. Maybe more than 2 hours before you have to go. Anyways, let me know how you guys feel about this bonus section. Is it something that you guys would like to see more of, or would you rather I just stick to talking about the main topic of the video? Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Check out my other art and commentary videos on screen now. Let me know what you thought of that bonus section, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of my videos. See you next time.